Welcome, everyone, to our Economic Development and Culture Committee meeting. Today is April 16th. It is now 6:37. We are currently waiting to reach quorum. Once we have reached quorum, we will start our meeting. Thank you for your patience.
We have to do the roll call just to confirm that we don't have. So, I'll call the roll. Committee members, when I call your name, please answer present. April Autry,
Present.
Mark Bedrowski will be absent. Brandon Gillespie.
Present.
Christina Johnson. Giselle Malave,
Present.
Jessica Morris. Eugene Rodriguez is excused. Vinnie Torres. Jenny Tromsky will be absent. Anne Marie Vasquez.
Present.
Jason Wu will be absent. We do not have quorum. So we're gonna go into, what's that term?
A short recess.
Yeah, we're gonna go into a short recess, for about 15 minutes in the hopes of achieving quorum. So we ask, all the attendees for their patience. I'm gonna pause the recording and mute us, so you know, listen to us struggle.
Hello, everyone, again. This meeting is called to order at 6:42 p.m. Tonight, we are joined by Angel Muscane, our staff liaison to this committee. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. No one may speak until granted the floor. CB11 members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. To raise your hand through Zoom, click the participants icon and you will find the raise hand function there. Members should not engage in a back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next person to speak. Please keep your questions and comments brief and on topic for the discussion. Members of the public, if you have a question or comment about the subjects on the agenda, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. We will now take attendance by roll call.
Committee members, when I call your name, please answer present. April Autry,
Present.
Mark Bedrowski will be absent. Brandon Gillespie,
Present.
Christina Johnson,
Present.
Giselle Malave,
Present.
Jessica Morris.
Here.
Eugene Rodriguez is excused. Vinnie Torres. Jenny Tromsky will be absent. Anne Marie Vasquez. And Jason Wu will be absent. We have quorum.
The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by board office and was posted online. If there is no objective, we will adopt the agenda as stated. Committee members, if you object to adopting the agenda, you may raise your hand to be recognized. Seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. The minutes from our last meeting were distributed to committee members ahead of time by the board office. If there's no objection, we will adopt the minutes from that meeting. Committee members, if you object to adopting the minutes, you may raise your hand to be recognized. Seeing no objections, the minutes from the last meeting are adopted. The minutes of tonight's meeting are being taken by Anne Marie Vasquez, our vice chair. Announcements. Our first announcement is on April 2nd, 2024, the Department of Small Business Services announced a new grant program to support small businesses in dealing with natural disasters. The Business Preparedness and Resiliency Program will offer free risk assessments to identify vulnerabilities and issue grants up to $5,000 for small business owners and commercial property owners to use for infrastructure protection or upgrades like generators or floor barriers. Our second announcement is on April 27th, starting at 4 p.m., the Harlem Arts Alliance will hold a town hall at the Robert Frederick Smith Center for Performing Arts in Denny Farrell Riverbank State Park, 679 Riverside Drive at 145th Street. Any announcements?
Here's a question regarding the first announcement. Has that gone to, I know, there is an emergency response organization in East Harlem that is fairly robust. Is there, was this communicated to the organization? I think the The intention of making resilience something that happens throughout the community, means that if there's some sort of disaster, the places that people can go to check their phone or have some sort of point of support. This would include businesses in that network of resiliency. So Angel, you probably know the organization. Co-ed, yeah. Has co-ed been made aware of this as a way to just connect with perhaps those small business owners who are interested to fortify that network of resiliency?
I'm not sure, but I can forward it.
Yeah,
Awesome, thank you, that's all I was asking.
thank you, Jessica.
Of course.
Any other announcements, questions? Okay, we can move on. Informational updates. We will hear from any of our business development organizations online. First up, we have, is that Maya? Maya,
Yeah, Maya and Carrie both.
okay. Okay, I'll let, Carrie, hi, Carrie. I'll let you go
Hi,
first.
or Maya can go first, either one, doesn't matter.
Okay, if Maya's ready, she can go. If not, Carrie, you're more than welcome to start.
Okay, Maya, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'll go. So hello, my name is Carrie. I'm from Uptown Grand Central. I'll do our little updates quickly. I guess the first one is we have hit enough support for the East Harlem 125th Street bid to move ahead with sending in our documentation to the city. So the city gave us the green light about a week and a few days ago. So right now I'm furiously PDFing all the ballots and everything, and we're working on getting our final information to send in. At that point, it will. There's still a lot more to happen. There has to be an interagency meeting at the city level. Then it has to come back to the community board, to land use, and to the community board as a whole. Then it has to go back to city council, then to the mayor, then to the state controller. So it's going to be probably a year more. But good news in the next step and getting the next step. So that's great. Not so great is there's been a lot of violence recently along the East 125th Street corridor. You guys have probably been keeping up with it, but several murders, stabbings, terrible things, pretty much all stemming from different gang fights that have played out on the streets, as well as drug transactions. So that's not great. We are also working with the district attorney's office to pilot a very small program where we have a public safety coordinator who's not law enforcement, who is basically just a communicator. So walking up and down the street, visiting with the small businesses, trying to connect the dots between needs and getting small things solved, maybe things that are not safety related, like a pothole or a street light, but kind of connecting the community as well. So we're trying to get that the last details of that hammered out so we can start a 6-month pilot for the public safety team. And then we've got some events going on. On the 27th, we're doing a cleanup along East 125th with the Sanitation Foundation. May 5th is a Jane's Walk for the Grand Scale Mural Project. So you can come walk the murals and learn about each one. There's more than 100 murals and each one has a story. And then it just got posted today. We're working on the Harlem Wellness Festival, which will be in East Harlem on the east side of Marcus Garvey Park on May 18th. And so that brings together all of the fitness and wellness businesses in Harlem across all parts of Harlem. So yoga, boxing, cardio, gyrotonics, which I didn't even know was a thing, but evidently it's a thing, and all sorts of wellness therapies. So that'll be really, really fun. And then the last thing, I'll gladly drop it in the chat, is we're doing our crowdfunder right now, and donations of up to $500 are matched by IOB, the crowdfunding platform. So I don't know if I'm allowed to do that at a community board. I'm looking at Angel's face, but I could still drop it in the chat. Whether or not people click the link, I don't know. But anyway, that is our report. So thank you guys so much, and thanks for the support with the bid development. That's been crucial and really important.
Thank you so much, Carrie. First of all, congratulations, because that's a win for East Harlem for sure, and definitely for 125th Street and much needed. So I know you mentioned that it's gonna be about a year total, right, to see this project actually come to life. So when should we expect, let's say, like, the next step update? So is there something going on throughout the summer that we need to follow up with, or will you just kind of?
Right,
Okay.
the community board will find out because it's gonna go to SBS, Small Business Services. Small Business Services will call an interagency meeting, so they gotta circle all the wagons to let all the city agencies know what's up. And then it's gonna come back to the community board, so you guys will have notice of that. And hopefully, we're on a timetable, so hopefully we can get it back to you quickly, because there's a lot of things going on with city planning in terms of the city of Yes. And so we've kind of been given these little warning signals that we can't get backed up too much because city planning is going to be dealing with city of Yes. So that's kind of the worry, because bid cycles are based on property tax bills. So we need to be in the system to be on the property tax bill for summer 2025 in order for it to actually work for that season, because then the next time is winter 2025-26. So that's the timeline, but we'll definitely keep you posted when it's going to come back before the community board.
Understood. Thank you so much, Carrie. I'm gonna
Thank you,
open
guys.
up to any questions, and
Hi, Carrie, and congratulations, and I hope once you guys have it going, then you can move down south to 122nd and Third Ave, the bid.
That's right. That's right. We're coming for you, Barica. Yeah, we'll
Yes.
definitely, you guys are just right outside of the boundaries. And for those of you who don't know, nonprofits don't pay an assessment. So it's a little hard for us to take in a non-assessed block, but we're best friends anyway. So we'll still work together.
But there are businesses in that area as well,
Yeah.
so, for the May 18 event, if, organizations want a table or be part of the event, who do they, reach out to?
Yeah, to me. Just
Okay,
reach out to me. And I'll put my information in the chat.
thank you so much, Carrie.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, we'll move on to our next presenter. Maya, are you ready? Okay, we'll give Maya a few minutes. We'll move on to Angel. Is there anyone else from business development? Or?
I don't see anyone more. Other than the people on the agenda.
Okay. Okay, any of our workforce development organizations prepared to give us any updates?
I don't see anyone.
And or our arts and culture organizations? Angel, if they're prepared to talk later on in the meeting, we can give them a few minutes, please. Thank you. Okay, well, that leads us to our next portion of the meeting, which will be the presentations and discussions. Okay, we have a presentation of plans for exterior construction and programming and a request for a letter of support for the capital funding campaign. And in regards to our small business spotlight, hopefully Yvette from Cape Burgers logs on. If not, I will speak briefly on behalf of her business. Okay, so we have from the Africa Center, Uzodinma. I hope I pronounced that correct.
See him on yet, but his rep is on. Violet.
Hi, this is Violet. He's coming on now.
Great, thank you.
Yep. Thank you. You moved faster through it than I thought you would. Thanks.
Oh, we have your hand up, in the attendees, Yvette Sayas, I'm gonna allow her to talk.
We have Yvette Zions there?
Yeah.
Oh, so we'll circle back, with the Africa Center, and then if Yvette is prepared to speak, for our small business spotlight. Hi, Yvette.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. I don't see me, but you can see me. Hello.
I'm gonna promote you to panelist, just give it 2 seconds to work. There you go. Should be able to see you in a second.
Yes, maybe.
Yes,
Hello.
hi.
Yes,
Oh.
we see.
Oh, I can see me too. So, okay. How are you? So, what would you like to know? This is my first
So-
time doing this.
Sure. So we would like to hear, as a business in East Harlem, we wanna know, we all live or work or know someone who lives and works here, and we wanna know about, your hours, your time of operation, how long you've been here, what you offer, your products, your services, and how we can, order or how we can, support your business in any way.
Oh, that's cute. I remember people doing that when I used to work for Adam. No, I'm doing it. So I'm Yvette Zayas. I used to be a former assembly person's chair, chief of staff, and now I own a business on 120th Street between First and Pleasant Avenue. We're called Cape Burgers, and we specialize in gourmet burgers too. You know, as a business, and I know that I've been absent a little bit, but only because the craziness that happens around our businesses. It's different now that I'm a civilian to look at the problems and things that happen in the neighborhood. One thing, and I know that I'm taking away from my business to speak about the outdoor dining. In my case, I'm inside the block, and what I've noticed now that the weather's getting nicer, the alternate sides, they tend to double park across the street from the outdoor dining and next to the outdoor dining. And the issue with that is that it does not allow for the emergency trucks to get through. I could stay quiet, but I'm not going to stay quiet because I foresee an accident, either them crashing into the outdoor dining or sideswiping the other car. So understand, so outdoor dining mine on this side of the street, then you have a little bit of street, and then now you have the double parked cars, one and then the other double parked car. So it makes it smaller. I think that something should be addressed. I don't know, no parking, something not worldwide, community wide, but I honestly see something bad happening here. And when they double park, it's not good. But anything apart from that, it's cool, also the garbage. I don't know if it's been addressed, but businesses, they were told that we needed those garbage with the lids.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes our businesses are where the residential is. So even if there's a conversation, one party doesn't really listen, and we get the short end of the stick because the garbage just sits outside of our business the whole day. The whole day. Nobody wants to go and eat, in front of a business with garbage is outside. And it's not supposed to be outside that early. And yep, that's it. What else would you like to know?
Okay,
I
so
do catering. We do catering.
Sure, Anne Marie wants to know what kind of food you guys, are
Hi,
serving.
Yvette.
Hi, Emery. Okay, so we are known for our burgers. We have turkey burgers, regular burgers, everything is fresh. But if you want to do catering, we do whatever you want. We do pernil, arroz con gandules. Sometimes we do off the menu things, sauteed asparagus or steamed broccoli. You know, we try to cook fresh. You know, we do buy here locally, you know. Haven't done the farmers market, but we tend to help each other here in this corner, in 120th. But yeah, we cook a lot of stuff. Alejandro used to work in a Michelin star restaurant. So, you know, his, you know, whatever he cooks, he could cook nice. And we're very reasonable too.
Nice. And how can we order from Cake Burgers?
So as long as you have my cell number, you can text me or you can call 646-799-9507. We do it through Grubhub, Uber, DoorDash, Menu5, but you know, call us straight, and if I can take it to you, I take it to you. Because I got my little bike. I don't mind. But it better not be raining. No rain. No rain. Don't do me like that.
Okay.
That's it.
So
And
Yvette,
you look familiar.
yeah, so I was gonna say, you made my 3-year-old's birthday cake last year, a pull-apart cup.
Oh yes. Yes, you live in front of the school. Yeah, you live in front of the school.
In the rain. Which
Ah,
was
you're
such
so
a-
right.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
it got there good, and it got there good.
Yes.
Good. I'm happy. I'm happy. Um,
Great.
I taken interns. So one of the things right now we have an ICE intern, and the ICE intern, it looks like he's on the spectrum. And so what I decided to do with my store is to be more in the educational part and helping people with disabilities or whatever, you know, into internships, externships, because Alejandro knows a lot of restaurant chefs and owners. So it's easy for us to place them or, you know, recommend them to, you know, a place. That's it. You know, so we're very slow here, but you know, it's whatever God gives, you know. So right now he's putting in my heart to help people, you know, with the internships and stuff like that. So that's it. Thank you.
That's amazing, Yvette. Thank you so much for sharing. And you said your exact location is,
400 East 120th Street, across the street from Acacia, across the street from EHCCI, where
Okay.
Operation Fight Bag is.
yes, and you're open from what time to what time?
Mondays we're closed, and each day we're open from 10 to 9, and then Friday until 11, Saturday until 11, and Sunday we open at we close at 10. So basically from 10 to 9 and 11.
That's wonderful. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yvette. Thank you. Any other questions from our board members? Okay. Thank you for joining us. We hope to.
Thank you for having me.
continue our meetings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
He's on now.
Okay. All right. We'll circle back with the Africa Center.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Thank you for having me, and apologies about the confusion from earlier in terms of the time, but it's really great to be able to present to Community Board 11 again. And I have a quick presentation if that helps.
Of course.
Okay, great. So for those, I think, you know, I see some familiar faces, but for those who don't know me, my name is Uzodimma Iwala, and I'm the CEO of the Africa Center. And we really wanted to, I think most people might know who we are, but if you give me 1 second, I will pop on the screen a quick presentation about what we're here for today. And can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So just to quickly give you a very quick overview of the Africa Center. We're right on 110th and 5th Avenue, so right at the corner there. And we are a multidisciplinary institution that comes out of the Museum of African Art, but really focused on changing people's narratives about the continent of Africa and its diaspora. And so really quickly, just to give you a sense of what we're doing, we do programs in business policy and culture that really, again, seek to take people deep into the story of what it means to be African, who Africans are, who the diaspora is, and our impacts on the world around us. We consider ourselves to be a platform and a home. Platform so that we can share the most interesting, innovative, creative ideas coming out of the continent and diaspora, and home really as a place of connectivity, of refuge for folks, you know, a place where people can come in and be, and take in what it means again and celebrate who we are. Again, just business policy, arts and culture are the programs that we do. And just to give you a sense of what we've been up to, we've done about 280 programs and had, these numbers I actually have to revise upwards, but about 245,000 people over the last 7 years, really attending the different programs that we do. And then of course, growing our presence in and around the city and the world. And to break it down even further, we look at diaspora as a big thematic area, media and representation, arts and culture, climate, and then of course technology. And these are all the areas that we program in, and that we think about on a daily basis. And when I say program, it's people coming into the center to attend, whether it's a movie screening or a book reading or a book talk, or, you know, to the exhibitions that we've done, a number of which have been written up in some of the papers. But really, again, it's about creating that home and a sense of community. And then of course, creating a platform for folks to interact with and engage with ideas from the diaspora and the continent. So I just want to quickly visually just give you a sense of what it is that we do. So community programs and programs for kids, a big deal for us. These are things, you know, whether it's outside on the plaza or inside, book readings for kids, stuff that we do. Again, book talks over here, dinners, the space is available to folks to use for galas and events. Music is a big thing, again, events, and then art exhibitions and other types of cultural programs alongside with the, you know, the policy talks that we do at the Africa Center. So, you know, really where we are again is just to give you a sense. We're at this stage here where we're thinking about the physical structure of the building itself. And that brings us to the capital ask. But just to give you a sense of the institution itself, for those who haven't been there, you can see we're just right at the circle, to the Puente circle. But what we're working on is a couple of things: building out this atrium, really thinking through how we build out the galleries and the meeting rooms for people to use, thinking through educational spaces, and then of course the ask that we made this year of the city is for about just over $4.5 million to work on this outdoor exterior part of the building. That's sorry, let me scroll down a little bit, and that will show you what our capital budget request is about. And that's this, the north wing roof replacement. So as you can see, it's clad right now in a fire retardant material, but it's really supposed to look like this image that you see right here. And that was part of the original design that didn't get built. And so what we're asking the city for is $4.5 million in funding to be able to clad this exterior and reframe that roof, so that we can protect the steel girding there and also make this place usable. It's part of the larger building project that we have. Just to give you a sense of what that cost breakdown looks like, it's really, again, about retreating the roof to protect against leaks, covering those exterior columns, and of course, just generally sprucing up that part of the building, again, to get it ready for events, community use, etc. So that is what the proposed ask and project is. I could share this document with you if you wanted to take a little bit more time to go through it. This is what we also shared with the city in our budgeting process, and I'm happy to take any questions about what we do as the Africa Center and also this project specifically.
Thank you, Uzo, for sharing the update and making the ask in such a timely manner. with our consideration of the budget. I think the last time you were here, you had made a similar ask for a letter of support with regard to some funding being requested from local council members, discretionary funding. And we were thrilled to hear about the work that you do at the Africa Center and how intentional you were being with your development campaign, bit by bit by bit, kind of putting the pieces together and growing with your capacity as far as an institution is concerned. That sounded like really smart, manageable, and kind of considered. So it seems like this is a really big step forward. Can you confirm if that's what's up and that it's reflective of the overall plan that you're working on? And how big is this step relative to your overall kind of capital intentions, big picture?
Yeah, so first and foremost, thank you. And I really want to say thank you for the support that you gave us last year. As you know, we were the recipients of about 7 million in funding from the city, which brings that total funding to about 11. And what we have done, so just to give you an update, is we've actually revised, and that's this slide up here. I think, you know, coming out of COVID and testing, we realized that we could actually do this space in here for quite a bit less. So we've revised that. We have about, I should say, just under $18 million in hand for this $20 million project. So the city's money was a big step in getting us there. And the hope is to close that $2 million gap for this specific project, which would allow us to open the whole ground floor. Now, the project that we're asking for capital funding for, that's the exterior of the building that we're asking the city for funding for, is another phase of the project. As you know, as you said, we've been thinking about this not as all at once, but in phases, so grow into the institution. And as we're thinking about getting started on the atrium project, what we're looking to is, okay, how do we maintain momentum and make sure that we're continuing in our approach to get the building open stage by stage, step by step. So yes, you're right. This $4.5 million ask from the city does represent, you know, a next stage and actually a great step forward for us if we can do it in working through some of the other areas of the building that we need to work on to be able to get the full thing open again in phases.
That's great, thank you. And I did take the opportunity to come and visit and have a bite to eat with a friend and colleague from Nigeria downstairs, and it was really incredibly welcoming experience, and the vibrancy of the energy there, people sharing, exchange. It was everything you could imagine it would be. So it sounds like you're moving in the right direction. Thank you very much.
We'd love to hear it. We'd love to hear it. So
Thank you. I have a question. What is the deadline for this ask? Or by when do you need our loan support?
Yeah, so the mayor's budget will be coming out soon. As you know, he released his preliminary budget in January, and so they start negotiating the budget in earnest pretty soon, like after hearings, end of April, May. So if we could have something by the end of April, that would be ideal. And last year, you may recall, the letter went to was addressed to the Manhattan delegation co-chairs. So that's Chris Marte and Eric Botcher. And then sent to all the members of the Manhattan delegation.
Okay, great. And then my last question is, the North Wing phase, once you start, let's say once you secure the funding for that, how long are you how long is the project estimate to take?
So sorry so each phase you can imagine is probably like on the short end is about 12 months construction. On the long end is probably closer to 18 months construction. So once full funding is secured for each phase, it's between those numbers, sort of that duration of time.
Okay, thank you. Anne Marie.
Hello, thank you for the presentation. I've always seen the place, but I never knew what was going on in there actually, so that's great.
Well, we gotta have you up.
Yes.
Gotta have you over.
For sure. So the question is, you said you have a space available for galas? We're
Yeah.
planning our next year, so I would like to come around and see the space and talk about
Oh,
it.
please.
Who do I get in contact with? Would it be
So
you?
you can reach out to me, but we have also on our website. So you should reach out to me, I think, and I'll just make sure that we get a chance to take you through. But we also have an events page on the website, which is probably the easiest way to make sure that it's logged in the system and that we can then know sort of like the parameters for you and then go forward from there.
So I really would like to bring our CEO from Borinquen Neighborhood Health Center to visit and just be the place. It's gonna be our first gala, so that's why.
Okay, all right. Well, we'd love to be a part of that. So yeah, if
Well,
you,
that's
I
why-
think.
So that's why, yeah. We would like to have
Most
you in. But yeah, I'll reach out to you. Thank you.
Please, and I popped my email in the chat.
Angel, you wanna
Thank you.
address the motion now, or we wanna leave it? Okay, so I am going to open the floor, and recognize the board members, to introduce a motion. Jessica.
I'd like to make a motion to support the request for, letters.
Capital discretionary funding. Is the number so far?
It's the letter of support for, FY 25 capital discretionary funding for the Africa Center for their, exterior construction and programming.
And second it.
April Autry,
Yes.
Brandon Gillespie,
Yes.
Christina Johnson,
Yes.
Giselle Malave,
Yes.
Jessica Morris,
Yes.
Anne Marie Vasquez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much, Giselle. Thank you for.
Amazing. Thank you very much for your support, for your continued support, and we're gonna keep pushing and get this thing built. So thank you all very, very much.
I have a question.
And oh, go ahead. I wanted to thank you, Angel, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to ask, is the center open now for visitors? Anybody?
Uza. Uza. Is he, I think he's frozen.
Hello, sorry, I think I lost
There-
everybody, but I just want to say my great thanks to everybody.
No, but Uza, they asked you if the center was open for visitors at this point. I think there's a delay. So, they're, gearing up for, an exhibition. So when there's an exhibition again, yes, it will be available for visitors
Thank you.
in the finish.
Another question, and maybe this is a follow-up question, but I know the board is always looking for opportunity to host, whether it's board meetings or other board gatherings at places in East Harlem around, and I know, maybe it's not the right time now, but if it were to be a good time in the future to host some sort of, whether it's a full board meeting or some other board activity where space were bigger than our office here, would that be something that maybe the Africa Center would consider as a way to?
So that's a question for Uza. I'm a consultant. So did you hear
We-
that?
I did, yeah, I did. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened to my internet, but I got booted. But yeah, we would love to, please. I think I popped my email in the chat, so please feel free to just email me, and we would love to.
Thank you.
And I'll
Thank you.
share I'll share the email with you again, Angel, too, in case people don't grab it from the chat. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you,
May I
Jen.
ask one quick question, Angel?
Thank you all
So
very much.
the letters that you drafted last year, do you need me to send those to you again as kind of like a template?
That'd be helpful, yeah.
Okay, all right, I'll do that. Great,
Thank you much.
thank you
Great.
so much.
Thank you all
Okay,
very
take care.
much, and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, Zoe.
Okay, we are going to move on to our next presentation from La Fortaleza, Felix Leo Campos. He's the chair, and he is requesting a letter of support for La Fortaleza Community Development Corporation's application for fiscal year 2025 congressional grant funding for local community projects and senatorial fiscal year 2025 congressional directed spending. Hello, Mr. Campos.
Hello, buenas tardes. How is everyone?
Thank you.
Excellent. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Everybody has to ask that question. Okay,
Yes, Felix, I incorporated your presentation into our slide deck. If you want to just,
oh,
just once the slide over, I'll click you over.
I'm happy that it worked technologically. I got bounced. That's why.
Yeah, it works fine.
Okay. That's a beginning. La Fortaleza began as a project back in 2010, 2011. It was conceived by former New York State Deputy Commissioner for Youth Services and Mental Capacity, also a public poet. He presented it to me and to the then director of the East Harlem Business Capital Corporation, Jose Garza, and we all thought that it's a great idea to turn this concept into a reality. And in
Sorry. Do you hear him, bro?
You can't hear him that
I'm
one?
sorry, hold on, Mr. Campos, because I don't know if it's a little fuzzy.
I think I'm all the way up. Yeah, try again, Felix.
all right, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me?
We can, it's just a little low. We'll be extra quiet.
All right, maybe I get a little closer. I think I raised the volume up here. Enough. In any event, thank you for inviting me this evening. Thanks for having La Fortaleza here. I know that for many of you, this is the first that you hear of Fortaleza. Not Yvette, because we purchased desserts that we gave as an appreciation to one of our sponsors, and it was like 4 flavors of pastelillo. So, money. Next slide. Okay. La Fortaleza was conceived in 2010, 2011 by Alberto Capas, the former New York State Deputy Commissioner for the New York Youth Department of Youth. He shared that with me and with Jose Garza, then director of the East Harlem Business Capital Corporation, and we turned that concept into a reality. And so a little something about La Fortaleza Community Development Corporation is that we regard arts and culture as another NWB. And so we negotiate and contract with them, we hire them, just like the same way that we would plumbers, electricians, accountants, etc. The mission of La Fortaleza is to brand East Harlem as a vibrant cultural community, incorporating the Puerto Rican artistic and cultural roots with the rich history of being at one point in time, there were 38 different ethnicities living in Harlem, speaking more than 35 languages, according to native son and author Christopher Bellion. Next. This is just more background about La Fortaleza. We have produced events such as the Hispanic Achievement Celebration. The next one will be El Festival del Libro, which we do annually. We all do annually, and we also participate in one way or another with other events that are happening, such as the International Puerto Rican Heritage Experience. Next. So just after that. Those are examples of the Festival del Libro. We've done it in multiple places, like we have with the Hispanic Achievement Celebration. We've done it at El Barrio Art Space Theater on the 9. We've done it at the Children's Aid Society. We've also done it at the Bronx Library. These are some of the examples of really be different than our market. Next. This is where we are today, folks, and this is why we're asking for your level of support. And
Louisa, you can speak up, sorry, we're losing you a little bit again.
what was that?
Oh, that's better, thank you.
Okay,
We couldn't hear you.
Closer.
in 2023, Vicente Barriga passed away. And his family then decided to sell their property in East Harlem. As it stands, Casa Latina, which they both own and operate, has been open in the neighborhood since 1966. And it should be regarded as a landmark legacy of music center. Next slide, please. So what we want to do is that we want to purchase, there are 3 properties that the family owns. And what we want to do is to use the shared courtyard, which is at the 1873 Lexington Avenue, and bring together all 3 properties so that we can repurpose the interior and include rehearsal and office spaces, an outdoor performance area, a Spanish Harlem Latin music themed cafe, and of course a park. And there you see the facade that we want to maintain as the arena, so that the presence is not erased. Next. If you have any questions, for favor, let me know. This is a view of a top-down view of 1783 Lexington Avenue. The shaded area is the open courtyard that is shared with, and this turns out upside down, but it's shared with 151 East 116th Street and 149 East 116th Street, which is the addresses for Casa Latina and the adjacent building. Next one. Okay, the bottom seems to be a bit cut off, but there's a recognition, there needs a recognition for the arts community to be looked upon as equal contributors to the local economy. There are performances, they charge admission fee, they hire people, they are employable, and as such, they contribute to the economy. And also, another benefit of the cultural corridor that we want to use Casa Latina as a hub is to maintain the Puerto Rican legacy, maintain that multi-ethnic identity, that we have a Greek Orthodox Church on 103rd Street, but nothing Greek around it. We have the Russian Orthodox Church on between Madison and Park, and again, the community is absent. We'd like to revitalize that because that's what brings people into the neighborhood. That's what gets people to meet. And there hasn't been call it a nightlife in the neighborhood since the 1990s, when from 103rd Street to 116th Street, you had Jake's Saloon, you had East Harlem Cafe, you had the Taller Boricua with their opening, and of course, Salsa Wednesdays, and other events that were happening. We want to recreate that with our corridor, and the hub is Casa Latina. Next. Right now, what's on the table, we've been negotiating through the broker, is that all 3 properties can go for $7 million. And that's a situation that you either spend it's 4 for $1 or 30 cents a piece. 4 for $1 sounds more feasible, including our programming, purchase, renovation. We expect the project to cost $11 million, and that's why we're applying to the congressional and the senatorial community of projects money. They have no limit, or at least none that is visible on their website, And so we're asking this question.
Any questions? That's the end of your presentation?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. I will open it up to the floor, for any questions, Justin, you have?
I do, yeah, question, comment Biz, thank you very much. This is, it's an incredible project and opportunity to fortify the cultural heritage in the heart of East Harlem. It is, sort of an unmatched opportunity to do so from a real estate perspective, but also from the very real, authentic cultural heritage that you are bringing together. It is remarkable, and that you are interested in leveraging the various types of programs and opportunities that are available to anchor the intention and anchor the you know, when you have a catalyst, it kind of, it sparks reactions, right, in a good way.
Right.
It sounds like that's what you're trying to do and what you have an opportunity to do. I am a neighbor. I live over on Second, between 101, 102. So, you know, I see here you're not far at the art space. As far as La Corte
That's
is
my
concerned.
elementary school. I grew up across the street at 100th Street, between Second and First Avenue.
I'm actually on Second, across from Washington Houses, next to the Cherry Valley.
Okay.
Did they close the school because of you, or was that just?
I was a vandal. What can I say? Which side? East side.
Well, so a letter of support, you know, I think, you still have, is there a time frame for, your letter of support? And I, would love to hear more about the specifics of the project. I'm also, sit on the land use committee here. We reviewed, a land use tool that looks at, unutilized air rights. So it's something to consider with all of the transit bonuses, relative to, various city incentives. The properties may be able to leverage some of those undeveloped air rights, as well in order to meet your funding goals. So it may be something we'll talk about. I'm happy to share what information I have or can find, if you, want to know a little bit more about that relative to, how to leverage what you may have in order to do what you'd like to do.
Well, we welcome any support and assistance in meeting this goal. We think that this is a legacy project. I think that that's what you were alluding to. And we agree. There's still a generation, an overlapping generation of Puerto Ricans in New York, in the neighborhood, to speak on it historically. And 116th Street has been an anchor. It's the third busiest commercial corridor in the neighborhood, behind 3rd Avenue and 125th Street. So by the published state report that was published by or on behalf of the Harlem Community Development Corporation and the then East Harlem Business Capital Corporation. You know, we want to keep ethnic neighborhoods thriving, and we see that this is an opportunity to do that. Acquiring the building is property that's owned by the family. Of what I have understood from the broker who represented them, they have the air rights over their properties. And so right now what we're looking to do is to try to find a way of keeping them from, of course, selling it to others before we get a chance to apply and learn that we've gotten this money. But UMES is on our radar for funding. I think Ms. Harlem might be overdue for some of that, the UMES money. And like I said, we welcome other ways of either meeting the expenses or lowering them so that we can we can acquire the building, make the changes necessary, and implement the programs that others will follow. We foresee.
And just to follow up, what, do you have any, there's always a stack of capital, right? When you're approaching a project like this, do you have a base already, or, would the application for funding be a starting point?
No, it would be our starting point. The idea of the corridor isn't new to us. But we have been massaging that corridor concept for a while now, which is why we've done events at the Metropolitan Hospital, the Poets Den, Taino Towers. We've done events at the Julia de Burgos Latino Cultural Center, and of course, the Children's Aid Society and PS 109. And that's La Fortaleza. Those are our parapets. And that's where we're focused on creating that corridor. Because Lexington Avenue was a place in the 1990s that, like I said earlier, you had Camaradas was on 2nd Avenue, but all of that energy from Lexington Avenue, 103rd to 116th Street, carried over to 2nd Avenue. And that became a habit. And another one is due. Another one is due. We don't have capital. This is our starting point, which is why I have my fingers crossed and hair braided, but fortunately you can't see. We're looking for a letter of support that will say from the community board that this is a big vision and we can see it happen. We support it.
Thank you, Mr. Campos. Thank you again, like Jessica said, for bringing this project to us and allowing us to be a part of it somehow. I have a couple of questions. I can't tell you the amount of times that people tell us that in my restaurant that we need to expand because they want to dance, they want a place where they can socially gather at night. So I love this idea. I think it's very much needed, and definitely to preserve the culture in East Harlem, I think it would be a success. So
Gotcha.
congratulations. I think definitely keeping us updated with the specifics, like Jessica asked, of like the actual like programming and project. I see that Alberto Capas is on your advisory and he's Commissioner for Youth Services. So I literally have that as one of my notes.
Okay.
To keep in mind to involve our youth always, because you guys can be like a main, I would say, source to teaching, future Tito Puentes and
Right.
future,
Well, it's the aim of our. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's the aim. You're thinking. You're expressing the thought that our events take place. We always invite and we have participation from the youth. Youth Action, Youth Build has been volunteers with us. So has the youth program at Union Settlement in the Washington houses on 99th Street. We have also worked with the Children's Aid Society in the Bronx that has a youth culinary arts program, something that you may be interested, and maybe Yvette, you might be interested too. And we've contracted them to cater for our Hispanic Achievement Celebration. And then the following year, Project Renewal, which is another culinary arts training program, but for adult ex-offenders. And so, we like I said, the arts and culture, they're another MWBE to us.
that's awesome. It's great to hear. Thank you.
During COVID, when indoor dining was limited, and this is the example that we gave at the East Harlem Bottling Company, La Fonda Boricua, and as well Amor Cubano. We tell them you have a indoor capacity for 100 people, but the COVID limits you to 30. What are you going to do with the other 70? So what we did is that we took our Hispanic Achievement Celebration under the Open Culture Street Permit Program. And we held our event on East 108th Street between 3rd and Lexington Avenue. And the people who attended our events got a voucher to go to either La Fonda or Amor Cubano and redeem the voucher for a discount on their Mother's Day brunch. We held it on Mother's Day.
Okay, thank you for that information. That sounds great. That's all wonderful. So it sounds like you are already very, involved in the supportive programming that we need for our youth and elders and in keeping the culture, in East Harlem alive. So thank you. Anne has a question.
Hi Felix, how are you? Is that Marie?
Hi.
So you guys are asking for 11 million, correct?
Correct.
Okay, the real estate is 7 million. So
I'm
the
sorry,
other,
could you repeat that, please?
so the building is 7 million, correct? The real estate? is
Yeah.
7 million is for the building?
That was a bundled price that the broker had quoted to me. Otherwise, the 151 Abbott's itself, the Casa Latina Music Shop building, was going for 3.3. So the other two are in the neighborhood of 2.9, maybe 2.8, and that would be another 200,000, 300,000 in expense just to purchase the building if it weren't being offered as a bundle, because the family wants to get rid of it.
Mhm.
All right, and
So-
we're looking for the assurance so that we can keep them from selling it at least until the Congressional and the Senate, the decisions are made as to who they're going to fund, how much, and then we can take from there. But that's not going to keep us from looking for other sources. We just need to somehow keep them from, give them consideration to keep them from selling the building before we get a chance to buy it ourselves.
And what would the other 4 million be for?
The other,
4 million.
I'm sorry,
It's
what was
11. You're asking for 11, the other 4.
right?
What are you requesting it for?
Yeah, the 7, the 7 is the price for the building. The 4 will be for programming and hiring a staff. And perhaps covering, let's say from the Senate, using the 4 that maybe we get from the Senate to cover what the 7 that the congressional grant to us will not cover. Because the senatorial monies are more open, less restrictive, or less restricted than the congressional. Congress, you can acquire a building, you can renovate, you can start from scratch, you can repair, but you can't use it for programming.
Okay, thank you.
The question is, the CDC is incorporated or a nonprofit? Technically, what kind of business is the entity?
We're a not-for-profit 501c3.
Right.
We use one of our board members, Evelyn Collazo, who folks may know from PS 109. She's one of the artist residents there. We work out of her address, using her address, and one of the benefits of this project is that it'll give us office space. She could have her apartment back. And that's something, that's a goal that I think every CBO and every organizational business would like to have. They start in your garage or your living room kitchen, but you eventually want to have your own space. And so we've been incorporated since 2019. We're good. We're looking for that space, and this is an opportunity to do it.
And you are filed as a 501c3 per the state.
Yeah.
Okay.
The New York State Charities, yeah.
Great. Okay, thank you, Mr. Campos. You said you need this letter of support. You're requesting it by
By
when?
April 19th.
Oh, it's Friday. That's this Friday. Yes, this Friday. Okay, so then I guess I will open it up to the floor. Board members, if you wish to entertain a motion to.
So this would be able to be approved at the executive meeting and go forward, is that right? There is a
Do we
pathway.
need to vote? Yeah, because it's going
So we have to
to.
vote tonight exec would ratify on Thursday. So that they can meet the deadline for the grant.
I'll make a motion. Motion to support La Fortaleza's, application for congressional grant funding for local community projects and senatorial congressional directed spending.
And as great. Thank you so much, Mr. Campos.
Okay, what was the vote, if I may ask?
Okay.
Perfect? We
Yeah,
appreciate your support. Muchas gracias. I'll pass it on to the board.
Hold on, patience. April Autry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Brandon Gillespie.
Yes.
Christina Johnson,
Yes.
Giselle Malave,
Yes.
Jessica Morris.
Yes.
And Anne Marie Vasquez.
Yes.
All right, now. Now
Oh,
you're
yes,
good. The motion passed.
Unanimous support.
muchas gracias. Thank you.
Appreciate
it.
Keep up the good work.
Okay.
Rubbing my eye. It's burned.
Okay. Thank you everyone again for attending, and we are gonna move on to our next portion of the meeting, our old business. Okay, so, for sure, next month, there's gonna be old business to discuss, because I want to look at our district budget needs. I wanna like finalize what the committee, edits, additions, deletions. I wanna put it in language and, leave that kind of set up almost finished, completed, so that Anne Marie can, tweak it and she can be ready for the 2026 fiscal year, correct? Right, Angel? 2026. Okay. So please come prepared, look at the documents that Angel sent a couple months ago. Read them, look around what in the neighborhood, see, what do we need? What do we need? What has been fulfilled already that you feel maybe, can be. You guys know, we've spoken about the budget, and if you have any questions, you can reach out, I'll help in whatever way I can, and Marie she's, her first year in the process, but she's learned a lot, and then of course, Angel's always a resource. Right, Angel?
Sure.
And,
Thank you for being so, ahead of the game in thinking about it's a process, and it's difficult to participate when there's not previewing the process and really targeting the participation. In addition to, making requests of SBS and, sometimes EDC, I think kind of speaking for Eugene because his voice is here to do so. I think there's been a big push by the committee to support, cultural investments. So as we do our work, is that sort of an earmark that we can all consider of how to generate asks and input that will support that overall recognition of important time to act.
For sure,
That's what we're saying.
and we can include DCLA in that as well, so SBS, EDC, DCLA, everybody under the sun that needs to, be a part of this ask, we will include. I just ask that everyone please come prepared next month to, have like a robust conversation so that we all are adding and adding to the conversation. Anything else? Jessica, did you get a chance to look at April's Google Drive? She sent it. You put your information, Christina? Information? No. Okay, so April created a Google Drive. It's very basic, it's very simple. It's just like your name, your interests, your asks, like what we all kind of bring to this committee, so that we know what our interests are, and that'll help us also delegate like tasks as a committee. So let's say, for example, Jessica's very involved in Jessica, you work for, can you refresh? You
that's
bring,
a- that's a
what
good
knowledge do
question.
you bring to EcoDev?
What knowledge do I bring to you? But, that's a good question.
Like from your own personal?
She's a very good knitter.
I
Just trying to give you, give you a boost.
Yeah, thanks. I actually quit knitting. It's not- That's okay.
My information is all.
It's a good activity when you're, sitting there with chemo, but, what do I bring is the question.
Just to think about it and like add it in, like I know that April had put in her experience in the medical field. So we just wanna know what everyone kind of like, what our interests are in the community, so that when we come to the committee, we can, work on those strengths.
If knitting's a metaphor, maybe that's correct.
Okay.
And I think in
I can make it
addition,
something else.
in addition to like skills or interests or professional backgrounds, it could also be how you identify. Like I identify as a parent of a small child. And I think that affects what businesses I go to and what I'm looking for in the neighborhood and in terms of our arts and culture. So any other identities, I think, as well is part of that.
I'm a non-identifier. Trouble. I understand where you're getting at, but there's, the document is in the shared drive, is that correct?
Yeah, yes, it's in the shared drive.
Mhm. It's a spreadsheet.
It's a
What's it called?
Economic Development and Culture Committee. 23-24.
And it's April, so we have 2 more meetings, guys, after.
Okay, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there.
Christina,
Mhm.
I'll take my eating back.
Can you show her, please, Angel?
She also- It's a short good one.
Yeah, so next month, there will be old business, we are gonna
See?
work on that.
No, but you're in the budget committee.
Oh,
This committee's one,
else's.
so it's that one.
it's fun. Okay, the
Oh, that's
spreadsheet.
great.
Yeah.
That's all right. I got good ear. Yeah, no worries.
A lot of changes, people are doing.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
We're not
So-
there yet.
We have an announcement. Or like whatever, comments at the end before we leave. So next month, speaking of cultural stuff, we have 2 pending items on the agenda. We have an update, speaking of DCLA, from DCLA on the Victory Beyond Sims public art project.
Oh, great.
That's been a long time coming, so looking forward to that one. And then, Alex Marnell from, Uptown Shakespeare in the Park. I shouldn't have read it, but I can't. Is gonna be coming and giving an information presentation as well.
Okay, so long meeting next month then. Okay, and then Francis, and also NYPL.
Yeah.
She wants to come next month.
Okay.
Francis.
Francis,
Yeah,
yes.
Francis.
Yeah, we're gonna have some pretty cool libraries as soon as they finish.
Right now, they're all closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other old business that anyone
Hold on,
wants
she's gonna give us
to?
an update on the opening.
So the summer activities, spring summer activities until, everything's open over there, but we haven't heard from her in a while. And I'm sure they have programming for the summer, like April had asked, what am I gonna do with my kids in the summer? But if, those are great programs and they're available for us, so.
May I ask a question? Just while we have a little bit of time, is there some tool that measures the, sort of household financial well-being of communities? I know, it's not the census, but the ACS survey has some of that data. I'm just wondering, how East Harlem is doing relative to how it was doing. As I've been here for 10 years, and that's a pretty good amount of time, and I'm wondering what the general kind of status of economic well-being is, if it's changing in a measurable way, in that there's been some investments. I think the rezoning meant there would be change, I think there's gonna be more investments, so sometimes finding a way to figure out.
To track it,
Yeah, what is the tool to kind of get the pulse of how people are doing here? Besides just kind of looking around and asking and observing. I think are there tools that we should be aware of just to?
I don't know any tools, but I think that's a great, that's something that we can mention to, the organizations that already are just very in tune with, you know,
Local banks might actually have some information that they can share the aggregated data about,
and we can mention that to like Michelle Carey, because I know they're very like plugged into the city, what's happening and like all those new tools, and so maybe, proposing that type of tracking system. And we can also work and do a little bit of digging ourselves, on top of letting these institutions know,
Maybe
this
I'll-
information, because it would be helpful.
And I'd be curious if any of the schools, like the School of Social Work, because they do some really interesting things around needs assessments and for food in particular. But I just think it's also a public health measure, in terms of financial and economic well-being. So it'd be interesting to see if there was any good, either qualitative or quantitative data or studies happening in the neighborhood.
That's good, because, and that ties in perfectly too, because a lot of people, you know, will ask the business, like, so how are you doing? But the people who patronize the business are the ones that, so if people are doing well overall in terms of, like you said, food is, you know, if everything's expensive and people are living, you know, check to check, then that means that, you know, we probably won't have as much to spend, you know, locally at that. So I think knowing what those numbers are, or being able to track those numbers, that's a great idea, Jessica.
I can reach out to both of them. I don't connect,
Okay,
but I can reach out to anyone for something else, so I'll ask.
and then maybe next month,
I can ask Melissa too, who's part of the board, we're ready to check the New York Fed. And they, you know, they do a lot of work and it ties into resiliency, it ties into a lot of things. And it's related to race, it's related to neighborhood, and zip code. As far as what your opportunities are, so if we can start to see those short term,
we can understand.
changes, yeah, then there's an understanding of when there's all this investment happening here in parks, in cultural centers, and, you know, when we're getting what we're asking for, who's it benefiting, and making sure that it is benefiting people who have been here and, you know, have been here for a long time. So, and if we recognize that it's maybe not, other people aren't gonna ask those questions or aren't gonna try to understand that before it's already too late. So I think if we look at it and say, wow, this is working, then, you know, we can use that for points of support or information to support our asks in statement of district needs, or, you know, or other things.
And specifically, you said a tracking of, of
I
economic.
said household financial well-being, and then, you know, April connected that to, you know, various indicators of public health.
I think the DOE has something like that. Right, it only deals with students that go to their schools, but that might be a starting point to pull information from there. And just get a general sense of those people, you know, those that are attending certain schools. I believe there is something, I'm trying to remember. I know I saw something about economics on their website. If you dig into it, I'll do that. I'll look
Okay,
it up
so
and
Christina
see.
will look more or less
I can
into the
yeah.
DOE.
Yeah,
Okay, and then Melissa
Ponce.
Ponce. Okay, and our June meeting is pretty empty right now, so if any of them want to, anybody can speak further, we can start looking at that too.
okay.
If there is something already in place, if not, it's a great opportunity to, try and build something like that. Okay,
You have two hands, Carrie King and Yvette Science.
yay, go Carrie.
Hi, real quick, I'm putting it in the chat, which I don't know if you guys can see, but for a while, the Department of Health was doing these things called community health profiles, which kind of get at that very holistic idea that I think you're talking about. So there was health data as well as economic data, and it's for each of the community districts. I'm looking here, and it looks like they did it in 2000, 2003, 2006, 2015, 2018. I used to pull a lot of stuff out of there. It would be great if they did it again, so maybe we can encourage DOH to do it again, but it's pretty comprehensive, and done in a nice graphic way.
Thank you so much, Carrie, for that. Can you, well, we can't see the chat, but
Community health profiles, you can Google it.
Community
Yeah.
health.
They still do them, they changed the format, it used to be a PDF, now it's
Mhm.
some kind of weird.
Interactive.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you. Yvette?
you're muted, yeah.
Yvette, would you like to say something? Your hand is raised.
You have to unmute that.
Star six.
Ah, right there. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? So I know this sounds, I don't know, let me just say it. I went on the census website. I don't know if you guys have gone on it lately, but that is amazing. They changed it. It is so user friendly, and you can actually get all that information or some of that information from the census website. It'll actually tell you the medium area income in the different neighborhoods. 10029, 35, 101, whatever, 39. So I think you should check out the census. It's really user friendly.
Thank you so much, Yvette, for that. That's one of those tools that we do forget that we have, but we have it, and there's a lot of information there. Thank you. Okay, so we have community health profile, the census, and then Brandon just brought up, coredata.nyc. And we'll look into that and see what information is there, but it looks like right on point what we're talking about. Any other old business? No?
Just context wise, the reason I brought this up was because it informs what our needs are collectively. So if we're asking for things and it's, you know,
Thank
we're,
you.
the community evolves, then to ask for things that reflect evolving community needs is something for us to be aware of, not to not ask for the things that we still need, but to continue to ask for things that maybe we need to otherwise.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to new business. Any new business?
For data to cover.
Or data? Data that I want to see.
This one, the data.nyc.
Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed to the second roll call.
April Audrey,
Present.
Brandon Gillespie, Christina Johnson,
Here.
Giselle Mallory,
Here.
Jessica Morris,
Here.
and Lou Vesta.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you so much, guys, for the meeting.
Yep.
Good night, thank you everyone for coming, good night.
Good night.
Good
Bye.
night. Let's go.